Welcome back to Motivational Success Stories, the channel where we don't just tell success stories, but draw out the lessons, hope, and ambition behind them. Have you ever wondered what it takes for a kid from the Brooklyn projects, raised in poverty, with no connections or special advantages, to build a global icon? How does a simple cup of coffee come to mean belonging, community, and sometimes even a shot at a better life? Tonight, join me on the journey of Howard Schultz, the man who transformed Starbucks from a tiny Seattle coffee shop into a worldwide brand, and, along the way, showed the world the power of dreaming big and caring deeply. If you sometimes question your beginnings, your chances, or your right to dream, let Howard's story spark your belief that greatness starts wherever you are. Part 1. The Roots of Ambition. You don't choose where you're born. Howard Schultz was born in 1953, Brooklyn, New York, into a family that understood hardship. His father bounced from job to job, truck driver, factory worker, even a cab driver. There was never a steady paycheck, never enough money, and almost never hope for something more. The family moved from shabby apartment to shabby apartment, always just getting by. Howard recalls at 7, watching his father come home with a cast after a workplace accident. There was no insurance, no support, just pain and insecurity. That's when little Howard learned that for many, the American dream was a fairy tale for other people. But for Schultz, those struggles planted a fire inside. He was determined to break out. As he would say, "You are not defined by your circumstances. You are defined by how you respond to them." Ask yourself, are you letting your beginnings dictate your dreams, or are you ready to stand up to circumstance? Part 2. Dreaming Beyond the Rooftops, Leaving Brooklyn Behind. Young Howard found escape in sports. A high school football scholarship brought him to Northern Michigan University, a leap most Brooklyn kids never made. Once again, he started with nothing but hope and a willingness to hustle. He waited tables, washed dishes, and did anything to cover tuition and rent. There was no safety net, just grit. After college, Howard landed a job in sales at Xerox, a legend for teaching young folks discipline, communication, and most of all, how to handle rejection. Schultz recalls, "I got hung up on hundreds of times a week. I was told no more times than I can count. But after a while, that fear of rejection, it faded. And what was left was the courage to keep going." If you've ever felt alone in a new town, held back by debt or doubt, remember, beginnings don't decide where you'll end up. Part 3. Falling in love with coffee, the Starbucks encounter. In 1982, Howard Schultz, then a marketer selling kitchen appliances, stumbled into a little coffee store in Seattle, Starbucks. Back then, Starbucks was just 4 stores, selling high-quality coffee beans and some equipment, not a single brewed cup. But Howard was hooked, not by the coffee, but by something deeper. The staff told stories about the beans, the regions, the people. There was pride, passion, and community in every bag. He thought, Starbucks was about more than coffee. It was about connection and belonging. He left his stable corporate job to join Starbucks, taking a pay cut, simply because something in his heart said, "This is worth the risk." Have you ever been so drawn to an idea, a place, or a purpose that you'd leave comfort behind? That leap changed Howard's life. Part 4. An Italian Awakening. The idea that changed everything. On a trip to Milan, Italy, Howard found himself transfixed by coffee bars on every street. People lingered for hours, laughing, connecting, making the cafe their third place, not home, not work, but a personal refuge. He wondered, why in America was coffee just a commodity, a product, not an experience? Returning to Seattle, Schultz pitched his vision, not just selling beans, but creating a welcoming cafe where people could gather, escape, and feel a sense of community. But the original Starbucks owners were hesitant. They were passionate about the quality of beans, not hospitality or the cafe experience. They didn't want to risk their tiny specialist business for a new, unproven idea. So, Howard took another gamble. He left Starbucks and in 1985 opened his first coffee bar, Il Giornale, inspired by Milan's cozy espresso shops. Within a year, the cafe was packed and profitable. In 1987, Howard raised money, including borrowing from friends and maxing out credit cards, to buy Starbucks outright. He brought in the Italian cafe spirit, merged it with American hospitality, and prepared to bet everything. Risk more than others think is safe. Dream more than others think is practical. Would you keep believing in your vision when even most experts say it's crazy? Part 5. Brewing a brand, more than just coffee. From the beginning, Schultz believed Starbucks wasn't in the coffee business serving people, but the people business serving coffee. It wasn't just about perfect espresso, but about creating a third place. A Starbucks store had to feel like home, a space to pause, connect, and be seen. He revolutionized customer service by revolutionizing how employees, called partners, not workers, were treated. Howard introduced health coverage for full and part-time partners, a bold move in the 1980s, stock options, and extensive training. He wanted everyone, from barista to manager, to feel invested and respected. We are not in the coffee business serving people. We are in the people business serving coffee. Ask yourself, how would your workplace or your business change if you valued people, within and without, above everything else? Turns out the experience mattered more than just the coffee. And soon, Starbucks wasn't just a store. It was a community hub. That's why millions feel a connection. Your name is called, your drink is crafted how you want, and for a moment the world slows down. Part 6. Storms and setbacks. When Starbucks nearly collapsed, success doesn't last forever. In 2008, the global economic crisis slammed Starbucks. Sales plummeted, hundreds of stores closed, layoffs hit thousands, and the brand's magic seemed lost. Howard had stepped aside as CEO, but as Starbucks faltered, he returned, driven by heart rather than profit, to rescue the company's soul. He slashed waste, refocused on experience, and shut all 7,000 stores for a full day to retrain every barista on the values of customer care and coffee craft. He invested in digital innovation, loyalty apps, mobile payment, but insisted that Starbucks never lose its identity as a place of warmth. Howard's willingness to take tough, even unpopular steps revived Starbucks beyond anyone's expectations. Success is best when it's shared. Do you give up when critics are loudest, or do you double down on your core values? Part 7. A global community, Starbucks. Today, Starbucks boasts nearly 35,000 locations in over 80 countries. Every day, more than 100 million people order from Starbucks, not just for a caffeine fix, but for a break, a meeting spot, or even a feeling of home. Under Schultz's leadership, Starbucks set benchmarks for diversity and inclusion. They hire people from all backgrounds: immigrants, veterans, students, and those who need a second chance. They speak up for sustainability, fair trade, and social justice. Proof that a profit-first business can still lift communities. Here's my own take. In a world run by the bottom line, building a brand on human connection and social good is not only brave, but our best future. Have you thought about building a business with a mission that's bigger than just profit? The Starbucks story shows, banking on people and purpose can shape society for generations. Part 8. Lessons from Howard Schultz. For dreamers and doers. Howard Schultz loves speaking with young people, and here are 5 lessons he shares from his journey. 1. Don't let adversity break your dream. Where you start is never where you must finish. 2. Ask, who am I doing this for and why? True success is about meaning and contribution, not just income. Third, dare to defy the norm. Disruptive ideas are always doubted until they work. 4. Success is best when it's shared. Empower others. Lift your team, your customers, your community. 5. Never stop growing. Never stop learning. Even the biggest brands must adapt or they risk fading away. Let me put it this way. Have you ever wanted more? From a job, a handshake, or a cup of coffee? Schultz teaches us that more often means giving care, respect, courage to everyone you encounter. Maybe you don't love coffee, and maybe you don't dream of being rich. But Howard Schultz's story is a reminder for every one of us. Don't let where you're born, your setbacks, or other people's doubts box you in. A simple cup of coffee can start a movement. A good idea, fueled by care and courage, can change our world. What if, just for today, you dusted off an old dream? What if you stopped letting fear or circumstance decide your future and began betting on your own vision again? Are you ready to hunt for your third place? That space where you belong, where you make others feel welcome, where you rewrite what success means to you. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So, why not start now? Thank you for joining Motivational Success Stories. If you found a piece of inspiration tonight, please like, subscribe, and share your favorite real-life story or hero in the comments. Who knows? The next episode could be about a dream or a journey just like yours. Wishing you a day filled with hope, ambition, and the courage to make your impossible real. See you next time.